Hello and welcome back to another video on the Wrestling Debate and to another edition of AEW Dynamite Out of 10. Big show today. We've got an MMA fight on this show. We've got Brock Anderson making his debut. So on the whole, it's looking like a big show. Of course, we've also got Andrade sitting down with Jim Ross. So lots to come. Let's get straight into it. We did start off with the MMA fight, and in round one, Wardlow and Hager felt each other out as the round began. Neither Hager nor Wardlow looked out of pace, with Penty having MMA experience. Wardlow ended up dominating round, superplexing Hager on the mat and getting ground to ground. Hager managed to survive before in round two, Wardlow charged at Hager at the second round, going for a flying knee strike, but it missed. This round took to the next level as we saw Wardlow hit Hager with a powerbomb into the cage as well as a Hurricane Rana. Wardlow was set up Hager in a fireman's carry. However, Hager got Wardlow in a chokehold and forced him to tap out. Sean Spears then attacked Hager from behind after the match. Chris Jericho tried to come in, but MJF knocked him back. Dean Malenko and several referees came out to try and solve the situation before MJF struck Malenko in the face before Sammy Guevara came out and chased him away. I'm going to give this 7 out of 10. A really entertaining start to Dynamite, something different, and I enjoyed it. Up on Dynamite was Darby Allin versus Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. Allin had his work cut out early on. Darby and Page started the match. He forced Ethan Page to tag out early on. Allin continued to dominate the match early on until Page took him down with a shoulder charge and tossed Darby into the turnbuckle before tagging Sky back in. They continued to trade tags and work over Allin. And Darby didn't have much success. Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page continued to dominate. Allin breathed in an inside cradle. However, it didn't work. Allin then took out Page on the apron and hit Sky with a code red. Page then came out and we saw Allin zip tie Ethan Page's feet together. Ethan Page was briefly out of commission and Darby Allin hit Scorpio Sky with a coffin drop. However, Ethan Page managed to tag himself in and went for the superplex, but Darby Allin hit him in the hand and forced him down. Sky came out at the right moment and Ethan Page capitalised on the ego's edge to give him the win. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. To be honest, I didn't see the point in this. 2-1 handicap match. It doesn't really make Page and Sky look great, and of course it's a loss for Darby. So yeah, I didn't quite see the point in this. That was Orange Cassidy versus Cesar Bononi. Cesar Bononi used his strength as an advantage early on, hitting Orange Cassidy with a big boot. Back in the ring, Cassidy took Bononi down and forced him out of the ring as Bononi regrouped. The wingman, Cassidy, leaped over the top rope. The wingman then caught Cassidy and tossed him back into the ring. The best friend helped Orange leap over. Back in the ring, Cassidy dished out some orange punches, taking out his opponent in the process for the win. I'm giving this a 6 out of 10 overall. This was a really solid match, and Cassidy getting the win was, of course, the right decision. Hopefully he moves on to something new soon, though. Marvelous was in Jungle Boy when Kenny Omega drove in a golf cart and acknowledged by Don Callis and Michael Nakazawa. Omega told Jungle Boy that he had embarrassed him on Dynamite last week. Omega then challenged number one contender to a match to show how tough he was. The champion offered Jungle Boy a free strike at the face and told him it was a one-on-one opportunity before Nakazawa attacked Jungle Boy from behind with a laptop. As Jungle Boy fought back, Nakazawa pulled him off and Omega went in the golf cart once again before we got Cody and Brock Anderson versus QT Master and Aaron Solo. Brock Anderson was showing off his pedigree early on, forcing Solo to tag out. Anderson then caught QT in the ring and QT tagged out almost straight away and Cody took Solo down when he got tagged in. Back in the ring, Solo caught Cody with a stomp across the back and tagged QT Marshall. Then Cody then tagged out and Brock Anderson lit up QT with some brutal shoulder chances. However, QT did manage to get in control over the break, isolating him, and Cody and Solo were illegal men. QT tried to get involved and was hit by the Canadian Destroyer. Solo then tried to capitalise with a roll-up, but couldn't get the free count. Anderson cancelled the powerbomb pent and managed to get the pin. Overall, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10, to be honest. Really enjoyed this, and for a debut, it was really, really solid. Ross was then sitting down with Andrade. He was asked why he chose to sign with AEW, and he said the company had a lot of stars, and then Andrade said he wanted both titles. He ended the segment by saying there is a big surprise being planned by him and Vicky Guerrero, which I'm kind of intrigued to see what it is. But anyway, we then got Penelope Ford versus Julia Hart. Ford made a confident start to this match, taking Hart down with a couple of strikes after showboating. Hart took advantage, by more experienced Ford, then retook control with a handspring back elbow. Julia Hart managed to gain control and followed up with a series of right hands for a 2 count before Ford took back control with a short-armed clothesline to gain control. Hart rolled out of the way, but Ford locked in an Indian deathlock, forcing Julia to tack out. Miro came down to the ring and attacked Garrison. Pillman then wiped out Miro with a flying clothesline. Referee came out to separate both men. I'm giving this a 5 out of 10. To be honest, this wasn't great. It kind of just felt like they were using the women's division to elevate a men's storyline, kind of what they were doing when the women's division was really bad. It was main event time. Funky Kazarian, Eddie Kingston and Penta El Zero versus Nick Jackson and the Good Brothers. Kazarian and Anderson started things off. Kazarian was pretty dominant early on and a loose stall was all over Carl Anderson and Matt Jackson, who tagged in. Sling bays to both men before Kingston had Matt Jackson in a chokehold. Kingston continued to lay into Jackson, who tagged in Doc Gallows. The match soon spilled outside. We saw Matt Jackson lay into Kingston amid all the chaos, finally dragging him into the ring. Kingston finally tagged out with Kazarian coming in. The Elite Hunter was all over his opponents, hitting an incredible leg drop on Anderson. Kazarian locked in on the crossface, chickening on Anderson and Gallows before Anderson immediately hit Kazarian with his shoulder. Penta and Jackson then tagged in at this point. He tagged out Anderson and Gallows with a dive on the top rope. Kingston tagged back out and all the baby faces were over Jackson. Anderson tagged himself in and it was not his turn as Penta got some offense in and he continued to beat down Anderson. Things broke down at this point and we saw Penta hit Anderson with a backstabber and then suddenly Matt Jackson came out of nowhere and Carl Anderson took the top rope, hit Cutter and blindsided Penta to pick up the win. I'm giving this 7 out of 10. Really entertaining match to close the show. Overall this week, AEW Dynamite gets a 6 out of 10 for me, and for me it was a bit of a mixed episode of Dynamite. There were some bits that I really enjoyed, and there were some bits that didn't really make as much sense as I was hoping, but on the whole it was a fairly solid episode of Dynamite. Hopefully this is the last drab episode, maybe next week, and then before we move back to Wednesdays, which should be good. But anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, remember the thoughts and comments down below, follow me on Twitter, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, and subscribe to our channel on the screen right now. That would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.